What's up, everybody? Matt with BAAM Ranch. So what I figured we'd talk about today is this absolute circus of a world we're living in. And it's not even like a good circus, you know, it's not one that you're wanting to pay money to go see. It's just everything in the world. Here's something falling apart over here. Here's something falling apart over here. And it just seems like any minute, hey, the whole system may quit working. Maybe it's time to stop the circus. I want to go home. I don't want to participate in it anymore. I wrote down a few things. Let's just go through these right quick, right? So evidently we're all going to die of bird flu soon. The Red Sea, there's still ships getting attacked. It's just become such a normal thing that they're not really reporting on it anymore. And evidently Russia has decided to move some people in there, some of their, war type stuff, because, they had that terrorist attack. Oh, well, there's another thing. Israel and Hamas and Palestine and that whole freaking mess that's going on there. The thing with Ukraine and Russia, yeah, that's still going on, and we're still sending hundreds of billions of dollars over there to that. The border, yes, the United States border, and I'm not going to say United States and Mexican border because they're coming from everywhere. It's a tidal wave of an invasion that's happening at our border every day. There's supposed to be an eclipse happening here in a few days, and I guess it's supposed to be some kind of apocalypse that's going to happen. So we might get to test our bug out plans for that. I don't know. The election. I'm not even going to get into that shit show. We are actually sitting down and deciding whether we want a turd sandwich with mustard or a turd sandwich with mayonnaise. There are no winning choices in that situation, that whole election. China, yeah, where do I start? There's like, I put 5 bullet points on China. By the way, did you know that China actually issued a security warning to their citizens about going to the United States? It might be dangerous over here. You might have something to think about there. They are possibly right. What about this bridge that fell in Baltimore from that boat that ran into it? Now, there's been a ton of conspiracies and stuff around that. And I love a good conspiracy theory. I love it. But rather than focus on that, just think about how little it took for that to happen. And I don't know about you, but I tend to drive up and down the roads now and then, and I see lack of maintenance and idiots, incompetence and lack of maintenance everywhere, every single day, every single time I get on a public roadway to go anywhere. The scary thing is that stuff is probably the most likely cause of that issue. And I'm not going to go on. I've got more of them written down here, but y'all get the point, man. Everything in the world just seems like it's falling apart. So rather than get caught up and spun up in a tizzy and, hash out our inner Alex Jones to talk about what's, behind all this and all of that, let's talk about some actual solutions, because if you're willing to bitch about something, nobody wants to hear it unless you've got a solution to it. And do me a favor, go ahead and hit the thumbs up button, and hey man, you should subscribe. We do all sorts of fun shenanigans here. Sometimes it's this stuff, sometimes it's me fixing all of the broken stuff that I have, because it seems like, just like the world we're living in, everything I own is broken, But we do DIY stuff, gun stuff, and just these random rants as well. So I brought up Alex Jones, and I'm going to be honest with you. Alex Jones is someone that I really, really, really wish I could like. I really do. And the reason being is all of the stuff that's actually true, he discusses that too. But we get so caught up in turning the frogs gay that he's hard to listen to, man. He really is. But a lot of what he says, it's actually true stuff. Now, with that being said, I think it's important to remember is it doesn't matter what the root cause of whatever problem it may be. You know, whether it be a freaking invasion or the government gonna shut everything down and turn off society during the eclipse, or you know, pick your theory, right? It doesn't matter. Whatever caused it to happen does not change the outcome of what happened. And that's what we need to focus on if we're wanting to stay prepared for anything. How are we going to handle the outcome? Because here's the big kicker of all this. The way you handle all of those situations is pretty much the same, right? The way you're going, the actions you're going to take after the event or series of events that happen are all going to look pretty much the same. So what are some things you need to spend a little bit of that energy that you're all spun up in a tizzy about, this conspiracy theory, that, and Chinese hackers, this, and you know, the World Economic Forum and the bird flus, and let's stop with all of that crap and talk about the things we need to focus on. I guess first and foremost is food. Food and water, okay? We'll just call it food, but it includes the water. You gotta have some food, man. And I'm talking food stacked to the rafters. I love guns, I love ammo, I love gear, I love all that stuff. Dollar for dollar, we have bought more food and water and put that on a shelf than anything else. And not just on the shelf. You need to put food in the ground, and you need to put food on the hoof. And keep in mind, you're going to use a whole lot more water than what you think. A gallon per person per day. I don't know who uses a gallon of water per day. If you're not starting with 5 gallons per person per day, because you got to be able to clean up after you used a gallon per person to cook all that, you know, freeze-dried food and all that stuff, you know, that you've been sitting back for the prepper stockpile. So yes, we want to have water stored, but water is probably the most important thing that we need to have a way to replenish it. I've got a well here, we've got water sources nearby, there's rain catchment, there's 1,000 different options. Do your little YouTube search thing and figure out what works best for you, and come back and tell me about it. Where are you at right now? That's probably the biggest thing, is population density. What can you do to isolate yourself from population density? Get out of the bigger built up cities. And I get it, not everybody can do that. If you're living in one of these big urban areas and you're making $320,000 a year doing the job you absolutely love and you never felt like you worked a day in your life, I get it. I'm not going to tell you to change. You're a grown adult. Make your own choices. Now then, if you're like the majority of people, including the way that my family was, well, it just costs so much, and oh, I can't, you know, the kids' schools, and you know what? My wife and I decided we were going to pick up and move out of the city to this new homestead, because after living in town for a while, we finally remembered that sucks. We were both raised, you know, out in the country, and we wanted that life back. We wanted that freedom back. We wanted to have enough space where the neighbors can't tell what we're doing. So we went out in the absolute worst buyer's market of my adult life. The cost to buy this place is outrageously more than it was 5 years ago. We made sacrifices. We sold off everything we didn't need, and we buckled down, and we did it anyway, right? And I'm not saying you need to go find some place way out in the country, but is there some way you can at least isolate yourself from where the worst of the bad will be? Don't let perfect be the enemy of good. Sometimes good is good enough, right? So keep that in mind. Nobody's going to want to hear this, but you got to get your money straight. Don't come at me with this crap of well, whenever the balloon goes up or during SHTF, the money won't, you're making my brain hurt. The money won't matter. You're making my brain hurt. Has the S hit the F yet? Maybe it has, I don't know. I kind of think it has been for the past 3 or 4 years, but money still works right now, right? And if you're not buying groceries for tomorrow, you're probably not going to be doing a whole lot of good whenever everything goes down the tube, in a month, a year, 5 years, tomorrow, whenever that happens. You've got to get your money right. You've got to have an emergency fund set up. Just today is my payday from work. Guess what happened? I didn't get a paycheck. Talked to my supervisor. He's like, oh crap, I see what the problem is. I don't know why it happened, but we're going to work on it. That could be an SHTF situation. And having a little bit of money in the bank makes that not a problem, right? You're not worried about that. You just said, assholes, and you go on with life. If you were already broke, that is a big deal. So get your money right. Start a side hustle, start a business of some kind. It doesn't have to be full-time, but get your money right and then do something, no matter how small it is, to take control of some of the income that you produce. Go mow yards, teach basket weaving, whatever, do artwork. I make like 16 cents a video here on YouTube. I guess that counts. It's extra money that I'm in control of. Build a network of people that you love, you trust, and you don't mind doing life with. We're not going to get out of anything by ourselves, even in normal life, man. Not just if, the world ends and the balloon goes up, pops, explodes, and all of the nasty stuff rains down. Just in normal everyday life, having a network of people that you can trust just has an immeasurable value. So start building that. And I don't know where to tell you where to start. With your church, pick wherever you think you need to start with that. But have that network of people, and then you're there for them, and they're there for you, because you're not going to handle any truly bad situations entirely by yourself. And then from all of that, what we need to do is the most important thing. The only thing that preparedness is being able to continue your normal life whenever everyone else's normal stops. Whenever everybody else's world goes to shit, your world doesn't change. And the most important part of that is you got to figure out what your normal is. You have to establish a normal. And that includes all of this stuff. It includes a healthy lifestyle. It includes having that network of people. It includes not being broke as sin because we blew all our money on boats and hoes, right? It includes, chickens in your backyard, right? What's the normal for you? Well, the normal for you doesn't need to be buying eggs from the store. And whenever the whole world stops, that part right there isn't going to change. You're still going to eat eggs for breakfast, and you're going to get them the same way you did afterward. So establish your normal so that you have something to continue if everybody else's normal stops. Well, kind of a rambly video. Excuse me. Bird flu. But anyway, before I choke on air again, I want to remind y'all, hey, listen, you got to get up and you got to do the things, right? Get up and be intentional about it. Go out and affect your world positively. The one thing, the one common denominator in everything going on in your life, whether that's good or bad, the common denominator is you. And you have the power to change these things. I have the power to change my things. My wife has the power to change her things. So anyway, get up and go do good things. And until next time, y'all be safe.